Everybody, I am back with another video, and this video is about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is introducing a bill that will allow DACA, that would be persons that were not born here because they were brought here by their undocumented parents who crossed the borders illegally to get here and work the fields where African American, Black, ADOS persons was working. Now, once they got their foot into that, then they move into the manufacturing companies. Once they got their foot into that, now we know in Texas 280 were arrested that weren't documented. So, those people. Now, these are the children of people that came over here in the early 70s, because I think I was a teenager when they started coming over. So in the 70s, I was a teenager because I was 10 years old in 70. So in my adolescent years, their parents came over here, and now they're of age, gone to school with us. And because they are undocumented, they weren't born here. But we were. They want to work in Congress. They went from the fields to the manufacturers to all the different jobs. And now they're petitioning to work in Congress as undocumented persons. And one article I saw that said that they told that they were tired of their legal status. I guess African American, Black, ADOS aren't tired of their status of being overlooked for jobs and not being paid properly if they can find a job, because they have undocumented ones that would come in and work for less. Therefore, those that were born here, the U.S. citizens that was born here of dark skin, are overlooked for jobs. Now, take a look at this article. Under current law, dreamers can't work in paid positions in the House of Senate, but they can work at McDonald's, Walmart, Lowe's, restaurants. And we know in Myrtle Beach, like 4 restaurants was closed because of the 160 undocumented workers that was working there, because the businesses who were apparently run by documented workers, not citizens born here, but documented workers, businesses, they didn't have any more of their DACAs or undocumented to work, so they had to close their businesses. Okay, let's get into this article. The article reads, Democratic presidential candidate and Senator Kamala Harris is a Democrat of California, where all the undocumented workers, the DACAs, those that got here illegally, are in California. And what do they want to do? They want to open jobs in Congress to undocumented young people. What about young U.S. citizens like African Americans, blacks, ADOS, whatever you want to call them? And they should be allowed to stay and work in the U.S. on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program. Wow. What about action for American descendant of slaves program that would allow young people to stay and work in the U.S. and not be overlooked by undocumented young people that came here as children, that they say it wasn't their fault. And I'm bringing out this point because Kamala Harris made it her business to say on her interview, let's get it clear, I will not be doing any programs or whatever that would help black people, African Americans only. And she said, let's get it clear. It will help everybody. So my question is, how would this Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program under the program that's being set up to allow them to work in Congress without becoming legal? Why don't they just get a visa? Their parents need visas to be here, those that make themselves known. Give these deferred action children, you need a visa. Perfect example. 21 Savage. 21 Savage wasn't born here. But he came over here when he was 7. But he got to get a visa to stay over here. Why can't these people get visas like 21 Savage? They weren't born here either. But they don't want to become legal citizens, but they want them to create legislation to allow them to first come into the fields and work their way up to Congress, which is what they have effectively done. Kamala Harris made it very clear she would not be doing anything that would help African Americans, American descendants of slavery directly. But she is willing to do something that would help. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals that came here. Their parents brought them over here. Their parents who are not legal, who brought them over here who was not legal. But 21 Savage have to get a visa to be legal, but they don't. She's going to do something directly to help them. Okay, on Wednesday, the senator plans to introduce a bill with Senators Catherine Cortez Masto, a Democrat from Nevada, and Dick Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois, that would allow children that was brought over here by their parents, children whose parents came over here illegally and brought their children illegally, who unlike 21 Savage have to get a visa to be here, but they don't, recipients to obtain jobs in Congress. Even though the roughly 700,000 participants in the program are allowed to legally work, so the 700,000 participants in the program are allowed to legally work, but 21 Savage isn't allowed to legally work, even though he's working. He's being detained if he don't get his visa paper straight. They are barred from paid roles in Congress. So what they do is just write a little bit of law on it that directly helps them. But you're not going to write no law that directly help American descendants of slavery. And programs are allowed to legally work. They are barred from paid roles in Congress. So-called dreamers can still intern on Capitol Hill. You just can't get paid for it. Okay, just like in the schools, in the manufacturing companies, in the department stores, in the Walmarts, in the restaurants, these persons can work there legally, intern legally. They can work there, but they can't get paid for it. So now you're going to, but they can work every place else and get paid for it, but you can't work here yet. Okay, that's creating a program that would directly help these persons whose parents brought them, whose parents came and brought them over here illegally. Okay. Only U.S. citizens are permanent residents planning to become citizens. Only U.S. citizens or permanent resident planning to become citizens are currently able to be employed in the House of Senate. Of course, they get there first, and then they pave the way for the undocumented children that was brought, whose parents came over here illegally and brought them illegally. Okay, but you're not going to do nothing directly to help American descendants of slaves, but you do something directly to help children whose parents brought them over here illegally, who came illegally and brought them illegally. They can work, they can be interns, but they can't get paid. So everything before that, they can get paid. What it sounds like. Lawmakers introduced a similar bill in the House earlier this year. So far, 57 Congress people are co-sponsoring it. Lawmakers have a similar bill in the House? Okay. All but one, Representative Jennifer Gonzalez Colin of Puerto Rico, are Democrats. All but one is a Democrat. All the rest of them are Republicans. Okay. The legislation is unlikely to become law due to Republican control of the Senate and President Donald Trump. But it is a signal of the type of immigrant policy Harris will support, and should she prevail in 2020. Okay, if she supports a bill that will directly help children whose parents came illegally and brought them illegally, but she's not going to do nothing to directly help American descendants of slavery who have been horribly affected and living in terrible conditions as a collective group, with the exception of those who are a part of organizations that make sure that they and their families, get to live and keep this group here from living a human life on this earth. They're not allowed to live a human life. They're allowed to live a slave worker. And in these days, not even that life. They're just supposed to just live on the street and die already or something. I see a lot of homeless people in California on the street. The legislation is unlikely to become law. Okay, I read that. The giant sign outside of my office says, "Dreamers welcome here." How come American descendants of slaves are not welcome somewhere? Because we know and value the contribution that these young people have made to their communities. Yeah? American descendants of slave children try very hard to make a value contribution to their communities. But when there are laws that say, I'm going to put your parents in jail if they train you to work because you might get hurt. Okay. Harris said in a statement, but right now, those same people are banned from giving back to their country by working for Congress. That has to change. Northern or dreamers are some of our best and brightest. I know a whole lot of best and brightest American descendant of slavery children. They are some of the brightest. In 2020, Canada added that government works best when it reflects the people it represents. Okay, reflects the people it represents. So California represents majority persons that came illegally and brought their children illegally. So because Congress need to represent them. Okay. But they don't need to represent American descendants of slavery children who are working just as hard to get back their communities, but it's being kicked in the face. Senator Kamala Harris spoke at a rally in support of DACA. Okay, she can't get the American descendants of slavery folks, so she's going to support DACA and see if she can get well, I'm going to pull the DACA up and get them there. But I'm not going to do nothing to pull up the American descendants of slaves so I can get there. So I use DACA. Okay. I've been proud to have several dreamers work in my office as volunteer interns. We should have American descendants of slaves as interns. I know as an American descendant of slaves, I couldn't be an intern nowhere, and I'm 50 years old. I went to school for business administration when I was 18 years old. I went to business administration, and then I changed my major to business computer technology, and I couldn't get an intern job nowhere on this planet. And I tried. So American descendants of slavery, direct descendants of Cherokee Indians, with dark skin, they aren't welcome as an intern. I know because I tried. With programs like DACA, undocumented immigrant youth had the chance to live and thrive without the fear of deportation. I sure wish American descendants of slavery had the opportunity to live and thrive without the oh we have someone more eligible. We not hiring now. All the grants are gone. We don't have any more grants. We give all the grants out for business loans and grants for jobs. I know all about that. I was turned down. Why? Because I didn't have the chance to live and thrive without the fear of rejection. I'm so full of rejection. I can bake a cake and make it rise with my rejection. It's the African American slaves who has their own business, but didn't really get very far. I still have it, but that's how I did when the kids was in school. But my children will be doing better. They are doing better. I got one daughter with her business. I have a son trying to get his going, but he's been going through the same blocks I'm going through. He's 32 and he's still trying to do it, trying to get it. And I have two others that want their business, but it's a process to go through. So if they had someone that would welcome them to live and thrive without the fear of rejection, all of your other stuff that American descendants of slaves go through trying to get back to their communities. Okay, I'm tired of reading this. So, this last article says, our communities need more solutions which reject sending more money to the deportation force and instead deliver citizenship, family, unity, and dignity for all. So American descendants of slaves should also be included in that. They need more solutions. Solutions that reject sending money. We definitely need communities for African American descendants of slaves They definitely need solutions that will reject sending money to organizations and people who illegally came over here and brought their children illegally. Some never got visas, some never plan to ever have citizenship now that they're children. To not only be an intern in Congress, but to be able to get paid for it. Now, they want them to get paid for it. And what? When they get paid for it, then what? I will be grateful for your vote. It worked for Obama. Only difference is it didn't work for Hillary. Anyway, that's it for this article. And I will be back with more thought-provoking articles. Bye.